He's continuing to seek extradition for Julian Assange, appealing a British judge's ruling against the WikiLeaks founder. Michael Ware is our US politics expert and he joins me now. Michael, how likely is it that the US government will succeed?
Well, it depends. First, how much does the US government really want to do this? They are proceeding with the appeal. And if you look at Joe Biden's comments about Assange before Joe Biden became president, it's very clear that Joe Biden is not a fan of Assange. So let's just quickly catch up. So Assange spent 6 or 7 years hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy in London before he was arrested and put in British jails to be extradited to the United States. Now, just recently, a British judge decided that the Americans have every right to extradite him. But Assange is so mentally crippled and delicate, they're afraid that he'll commit suicide in an American jail. Now, the Biden administration, as soon as it took office, only had days to make a decision about whether it would file a further application to appeal against that ruling. And guess what? The Biden administration did that. They said, we want Julian Assange here and we want him to face court. Now, civil liberties groups and journalist groups have all complained and said, look, you know, this threatens to establish a precedent posing a grave threat to press freedoms. Well, I'm afraid it doesn't, because Julian Assange is not a journalist. He never has been, and he's never wanted to be. He's a librarian or a webmaster, or at the very best, a curator of a website. And he did so irresponsibly. He solicited top secret information from the US government during a war and published it unvarnished with the names of sources still in those documents. Now, in 2018, I participated in a podcast where I said this exact same thing. Julian Assange is not a journalist. Well, Julian Assange was stupid enough to reply to me in a tweet. And he said, let me quote, "Who would choose to class themselves among one of the least trusted, most dishonest, craven, careless, cynical, anti-intellectual, power-obsessed, herd-like professions like journalism?" So when we have organisations like the Freedom of the Press Foundation and the Committee to Protect Journalists out there lobbying to try and stop Assange being extradited, perhaps first they should go and find a member of the press or a journalist to protect. And one last thing. Remember, he hid in the embassy. Then he was eventually arrested and thrown in a British jail. That's about 9 years of containment.
Yeah. His
source, Private Chelsea Manning, a soldier who was convicted and sentenced to 35 years jail, President Obama commuted her sentence.
Yeah.
So while Assange has basically confined himself for 9 years, his source, Chelsea Manning, was confined for 4.